Time for us to head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. This one about Baker Mayfield and the last couple of seasons.
Everybody keeps talking about Baker Mayfield's great 2020 season, and it was good. But at the same time, nobody acknowledges that they had a cakewalk of a schedule. So was it really showing how good Baker was, or was this year, when they played talented teams, showing how good Baker was? And then Baker being injured, I'm sure it impacted him. But at the same time, he's the one who decided he wanted to play, and when you play, it's on you. Beckham's doing great in L.A., and maybe he didn't want to be in Cleveland that much, but had nothing to do with overthrowing balls. And one of the problems I noticed with the playoff teams going to the Super Bowl in the playoffs, they hit their receivers open, and receivers catch and run. Baker throws into a window with 2 or 3 guys hanging on you. As soon as you catch the ball, you got creamed. So I'm kind of like your opinion of how can you compare 2020 with 2021 when one was a tougher schedule and one was a cakewalk schedule. Thank you.
And as always, we appreciate the voicemails. Tim Bielik, you can't debate it. The 2021 season and schedule was much more difficult than the 2020. As far as hitting receivers open, yeah, you have to hit them when they're open. But right now, the Browns need some receivers that are going to get open, some guys that threaten defenses. There really aren't any. Offensively, the lone guy that I think that threatens the defense is Nick Chubb.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back to what he was saying about 2020, I think we all recognize that was a much easier schedule, especially compared to 2021 and what the Browns had to deal with. But I think part of that also was, Kevin Stefanski's scheme still being kind of new. And, teams hadn't really quite figured out exactly what was working because they hadn't had months to study it and really figure out what was going on there. In 2021, they really made the adjustment. And obviously we saw a lot more man coverage in 2021 than we did in 2020 when watching the Browns. And the receivers the Browns had, the big issue was they struggled to get open. They didn't really have a guy who could consistently beat one-on-one to get a defense out of man coverage, get him into a zone, and then really free things up for other players. And that I think was really kind of what held the offense back. I mean, how many times was Baker kind of sitting there looking for somewhere to go, but nobody was open? It was blanket coverage. They had those receivers covered, and Baker just kind of had to tuck the ball and run or whatever, or take the sack, throw it away, whatever. He needs some help. And I think it's easy to put on the quarterback. And obviously Baker did not play well. I'm not excusing, his level of play, but we also have to consider the fact that injuries, the fact that he was wearing a harness that directly impacted his mechanics, had something to do with his performance, and it probably weighed on him mentally as the season wore on. But, when your quarterback's not 100%, you got to have someone to help him out, and that just never came in 2021 for him.
Yeah, I would agree. And look, when Baker Mayfield plays well, I'm going to celebrate it and say, guy played well. He didn't play well. There are a lot of reasons why. Whomever, Baker Mayfield or whomever is the quarterback for the Browns, needs to play substantially better than Baker Mayfield did this past season.